Vanakkam. Namaste. First of all, I have never been to I've never seen such design thinking in one place before, so I'm so glad I came today. And this is a topic very near and dear to me, if I'll narrate. First of all, I want to thank Piramalji for making me come here, and the Provost Sanjeev Vidyarthi for inviting me. And they insisted I come, and I'm glad I came, because it's what I saw today definitely blew my mind. This is something our nation really, really badly needs. I'll first quote V.S. Naipaul, the Nobel laureate. He said, now of course he's Indian origin, right? He grew up in the Caribbean and then England, and literary author. And I actually happened to read his books in about early 90, 91, 92, just when I finished IIT. So, and he said in independent India, Indians have built like a people without a history. Actually stung, those words stung, because he's telling the truth, right? We don't leave any kind of a visual, landmark in our thing. Our history is there. We have great temples to Taj Mahal, to all of it. But what have we done in contemporary India? What are we doing? What is our age doing? That's something we should think about, right? In fact, I grew up, I was born in a village very close, it's in Thanjavur district, but you might have heard of the big temple, the Rajaraja Cholan. His son Rajendra Cholan built a big temple too. That was only about 10 kilometers from where I was born. It's equally grand temple. Our Prime Minister was there just about 2 months ago in the temple. It's called 𝐂𝐲𝐚𝐽. He was celebrating victory over some campaign he had in the Ganges. So the literal village name is 𝐂𝐲𝐽, which means the Chola king who conquered the Ganges. That's the name of the village itself. And that's where he has built this big temple for Shiva. And the temple has stood for more than 1,000 years now. It's a stone monument. It's a beautiful one. You can go look it up online. And I used to go there as a kid, and I would wonder, why is it this we built this 1,000 years ago here? And nothing in the last 100 years, nothing in the last 200 years, nothing here that would make us proud, our generation, what we built. What is it that we built that's going to stand 1,000 years, right? But I would attribute this entire company's existence to those type of thinking I had in my childhood. That inspired by Rajendra Chola's temple, I would think these thoughts, and I would question this. I remember 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 15-year-old, I'm going to this temple, I'm thinking this constantly in my head. Why can't we build like this? And today I'm happy to say, whenever I see anything, I'll start with the farm where I live. We had to build a security guard station when you enter. And I said, generally those things nobody pays any attention to. It's just a security guard station, right? Nobody wants to be there. I told our architects, even a small space, let's make it nice, So we said, she's a young lady from Kerala, the design thinking. She designed us something, we call it a welcome center. We changed the name. We don't call it a security guard station, we make it a welcome center. Or in Tamil, Varaver Pagam, we call it. So it's a welcome center. And now that became a focal point, actually. In fact, I posted this on X about 3 years ago, I think. It's very nice. When you enter the thing itself, you'll see a small, very small thing. It's only about 200, 150 square feet, but it looks nice visually. And ever since we have been now, last several years, we have been applying with our office space, the school we have built recently. The school itself looks like a row of homes. The traditional Thanjavur Agraharam, as we call it, which is where the temple is, the students will congregate there. We have built the school exactly looking like a street. And that's going to open the next month or so for Pongal or Sankranti. That's when we are opening it. And the school, the new office spaces we have built in Chennai, that is taking inspiration from Italian small towns. You go into it, you'll go through a small town Italy. That's how we have built it, with the coffee shops and all of that. And there is a water body, there is a forest nearby, all of that. All in about 40 acres. So we have done a good job there. So we pay a lot of attention to this. So I'm so glad that Anant National University here, you are really instilling this thinking and you are living this. I mean, I saw the design you put out in the conference room. I saw the Anant National University, the dispenser, the tissue dispenser, and that's very nice. I hope to see all over the campus your footprint, And then you talk about the climate change. I actually live in a home, I consciously don't use air conditioning, which where I live in 𝐀𝐽𝐬𝐿𝐴, it's about 95% of the time it's okay. Occasionally it might be a little hot, but I use the fan. But it's a conscious choice, and it's a compressed mud based building. Actually, is several degrees cooler inside when you are. So many people who have visited me comment on this. But how come it's so much cooler inside than what it's so hot outside? It's a mud brick compressed mud block. All of this was our traditional knowledge. Our homes were built this way, 100 years ago until then. Now, all over India, we're building the same concrete and structures that we just actually should not be doing. And for those of you, the students, I'll leave you with these ideas. I came across this book, a British book, about a couple of years ago. And it's by an architect who asked the question, why is it that 20th century architecture has not made a mark really? I mean, why is it that we still celebrate an 18th century, and even European context he's talking about? It's the same thing in India, right? Why? Turns out a lot of the architecture of what modernity comes from a German 1910, 1920 Bauhaus school, they call it. That's where it came from. And basically the rectangular block thing and the concrete, all of that. We must question this because it's not suitable for our climate today. When it gets very hot, concrete traps the heat. So it's not suitable for us. And we need to build for our climatic conditions. We have to use materials that are suitable for us. Mud not only is actually cooler, it can last much longer. I have a rural home in my village which is more than 250 years old. It's still standing well. So you just have to maintain it, which is not a big deal, but it can stand, it can go on for centuries. So on the other hand, the rebar with concrete, it's only 70, 80-year lifespan. Okay. So with all the effort we go in and it doesn't last one full lifetime now. So I think we have to think beyond our lifetimes too. What we are leaving for our generations to come, are they going to be proud of what we have built? I think that's the question, and all of you, I hope that this school has taught you that. It is so important, and I'm happy to see that thinking reflected here. And I see the sustainability, the design, the architecture, and then the urban planning. See, it's not at all a secret to say that our cities, bigger and bigger, as they get bigger and bigger, they're becoming more and more unlivable. Again, it's an urban planning problem. It's a problem that only your generation has to solve with applying that thinking. And one way to start is to design these micro 50-acre campus as well. It's not just, I don't look at our campus only as a workplace. I also see it as a place where people would love to come and spend time. That's how I think of it. It's not just a place you come for work for a paycheck. I'd love to come here. It's so nice around that. And because that way, good design, good architecture elevates your soul, elevates your spirit. The same thing for our school. I want the kids to want to come to the school. I love to come to the school. It's just the whole atmosphere, the ambience. You can create that through good space design, right? And we have done experiments where we took a dead space that nobody would go, transformed it into a place of attraction. What would normally be ignored. And I saw examples here where the highway underpasses, you're designing it. And I'm so happy to see that. Because a highway underpass is something you will see a dull space. Who will want to go there, right? actually you can make it nice, and you are doing it. So that's the type of thinking that I'm so glad I came and saw this here. And I want to encourage all of you to keep doing this thinking in your work, keep dreaming, and stay relevant. Stay young. How do you stay young? And I'll give you one tip: work with young people. On a daily basis, I am working with 19, 20-year-olds. They challenge me. And in fact, yesterday, my team stayed up till 3 a.m. I couldn't stay up till 3 a.m. with them. But still, I mean, that energy, right? I asked them, so when did you go to bed? They said 3 a.m. because we have a milestone to finish. That's when I realized, well, I have to keep up with these kids, and now I'm going old. So that's the spirit. That's one. Working with young people gives you that. Second is always adopt that culture of informality. There's one thing I learned in Silicon Valley. I like to pick up the best from every culture, including our own, of course. I'm grounded here. But wherever I go, whether it's Japan, whether it's Silicon Valley, what's the 2 things I can copy from there? That's how I'm looking. What's a good idea? One idea copied from Silicon Valley is in our company, everybody calls me by name. That's a very Silicon Valley culture. And that has served us very well. We operate in rural India. You know, highly hierarchical culture. 18-year-old kid will call me by name then. We make them do it. They get over their reservations. Information flows freely. And it works like a charm every time. Even in deeply rural India. So we can make it work. So these are some of the ideas that we practice in our company. But I want you to apply this thinking, your design thinking, to everything you do. And as you go. And there's one final piece of thing I'm going to tell you. As an architect, as a designer, you are going to do client work. There will be clients, people who pay the bills. And one way to work with them, that's how I like to work. If you suspend your ego and only not always think of making a statement, you will actually make more of a statement that way. It's a paradoxical way to think. If you suspend your own self and say, how do I look good in this? Instead focus on only the problem, you will end up making more of a bigger statement eventually. You will actually get better quality work done. And because very often architects fall into the trap. I have to put my signature on it. And that's when, you build stuff that is superfluous. There's a lot of over design, all of that happens. If you suspend that and think only what is needed here, all of that, quietly in a very, understated way, you will make a statement. That's how I like to think about it. So that's one piece of hopefully useful to you in your practice. So thank you for inviting me here. I wish you all the best. As you go into the world, I wish you all success. Make our nation proud. Help build our nation. Thank you.